Now you sold the agencies. Lauren still has an agency, or one of the agencies.
Yeah, she still got her own agency, and then, we sold off, divested to probably 4 team members we had internally that were on development plans to own their own agency, and
nice.
They were ready, and kind of the stars aligned, and worked out really well for them, worked out well for us, and then that kind of gave us the fuel, I guess, the rocket fuel to pour into some other business ventures, which has been fun and exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know that a lot of agents want to hear the goodies and hear like, what was it that you did differently than the 95% who weren't able to scale to that level and then spin it off and look at other entrepreneurial ventures. What did the sales funnel look like in your agency, and maybe even at Lauren's agency, because I'm sure times have changed even in this small few years, from what works then and what works now and what worked versus everybody else? What kind of things were you doing?
Yeah, I'll tell you, in the very, very beginning, the biggest thing and the biggest asset to me was being in it from the very beginning. And I go to this place because I think this step gets skipped a lot. A lot of times we become business owners and we're automatically like the CEO. Right. I'm a firm believer, no matter what company you start in, you got to start at the bottom. Like, master, if it's a sales position that you're looking to hire somebody and coach and train them, master it first, achieve mastery around it. Customer service, achieve mastery around it. Because I look at it, if I can't personally master it and I can't push the bar to the furthest that I can personally push it to know what, not just what good looks like, but what great looks like and what is truly possible, how can I hold a team member accountable to a metric, a behavior, or anything else? So I found by being my own best salesperson, which I had to do in the beginning, like it was survival, just worked out for me really well because I had a person on the left of me, a person on the right. That was one of my best forms of training, was osmosis. Like, I hustled, I ground, I figured it out, working, putting in hours, but it was real difficult for them not to emulate me when their boss was sitting next to them doing it.
100%.
And by having that allowed me to, I'd say, train, coach, and develop, sniff out the BS. When somebody said this couldn't be done or it's not possible, you couldn't do it, I knew exactly every nuance. I knew every objection, how to overcome it, what to tell them, how to close a deal, how to build rapport, like every aspect of it that I expected out of them, I knew. I feel if you don't have all those fundamentals down in a business, it makes it very difficult, because when you're being fed excuses of why the result's not coming or why your team's not getting it done, like you're kind of throwing darts a little bit. Yes, it's just like, just go out and do it, but you don't fully understand it at the depths that you possibly could to help them in the trenches and really navigate. So that was one. Once we got there, I think the biggest thing, that having somebody on the left and having somebody on the right of me, very quickly, I created a couple mini-me's. As soon as I did that, I hired a wave of people underneath, and I just replicated what worked. I put them in the middle. I put a person on the left of them, a person on the right of them. Each one of them increased their compensation structure, held them accountable as a team lead, and said, hey, there's more opportunity for you. I want to help you get a name on the door one day. But you got to show me you can do it in a safe environment here to be able to show me that you can do it there. And, we're going to incentivize you for it. And we did that and basically modeled that out, where they led a few team members underneath them. They coached, developed them. And then we built an entire infrastructure around that. And, once we did that and we started to grow and scale, I found that culture was absolutely everything. So eventually got to one point where, we hit a brick wall and we stopped scaling. And what was it? And I'll never forget, I went to a business conference, and at this business conference, I had the person that operated the number 1 through 7 Honda dealerships. So they are, they have 7 Honda dealerships. And when they look at the ranking across the entire United States of America, every one of their dealerships ranked 1 through 7. So that's a phenomenon, in and itself. And what he attributed that to was having non-compromising culture. He came up with set non-negotiables, came up with this incredibly exciting culture, where the culture was so profound that eventually it attracted the right people inside of the culture into the organization. They almost didn't have to look for people. Those people came to them. And it was all the right people that possessed all the right attributes. So we came back, analyzed our business, realized we had people in our organization that weren't living all the values and non-negotiables that I had. And one day, light bulb went off and said, hey, my name's on the door. This is going to look, operate, and feel exactly the way I want it to be. There's going to be 100% positivity in there. There's going to be no negativity. We're going to not allow excuses. We're going to be solution oriented. And we came back to the team and said, you don't have to change overnight, but we're going to do a 60-day transition. These are the non-negotiables that we came up in here. This is what we want our environment to look like. And then we solicited feedback. Once we put our vision out there, like, what do you guys want the environment like? What makes it exciting? What makes it like not even work when you come in? And we created this ideal scene. And over the course of those 60 days was to develop it into that. And eventually we did. And we had some people that produced for us that put up numbers that ended up, no longer being a part of our team because they just couldn't make the change. While they were putting up personal numbers, we'd bring in new team members and they're chirping behind the scenes, well, the leads are bad, or this sucks, or this is bad today. They're poisoning the mind of others. So while, hey, I think this person's an asset putting up 40 items, like I'm losing people as fast as they come in, and I'm seeing the mindsets of other people get impacted drastically. So we made those decisions, and I think everybody in the organization saw and appreciated what we were trying to accomplish. And, our non-negotiables were live with integrity with everything that you do. Always be coachable, train every single day. The best athletes in the world, they train every single day. There's something to be said about that. So if you want to be the best version of you and continue getting better, you got to train. Make solutions, come up with solutions, not excuses. We had a rule of 3. We realized that the same people were coming up with the same problems. It was bogging down me and everybody else in the organization over and over and over again. But it wasn't that they didn't know how to solve the problem. You know what it was? It was easier just to come ask Dave or ask somebody else in the organization to give me the answer, so I didn't have to think, and I could just be a drone and operate on autopilot. Right. So once we implemented the rule that you couldn't come to us with a problem unless you had 3 solutions to it and a recommendation of what the best of the 3 was, what do you think happened? Well, every time they came to us, they had 3 solutions, and before they knew it, they realized they were actually problem solving their own problem. Right. They're going to have to have a solution to it anyways, and they would just stop coming to us with problems unless it was something truly, genuinely above their scope, which was very few and far between situations. They would get us involved, and we'd be there to support them. Yeah. Another big thing was PMA, positive mental attitude. It's not to say somebody couldn't have a bad day, because life happens around us every day. But what that bad day couldn't translate into is negativity, toxicity that's going to negatively impact other people around them, and leaving people better off, whether they're interacting with a coworker, a customer,